All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon for the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences webinar. This webinar is hosted by the UC Davis Transfer Opportunity Program, also known as TOP, and this webinar is part of our hashtag Transfer to UC Davis series, highlighting each of our undergraduate colleges. Today's college highlight is the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences. My name is Sheila Zhang, and I am one of the assistant directors for undergraduate admissions and TOP. I will be your moderator for today's webinar. Should you have any questions throughout the presentation, please use your Q&A button located at the bottom of your Zoom screen to send us your questions. Our team will do our best to answer your questions. I am being joined by Vanessa and our amazing CAS outreach ambassadors, Malia and Melinda, as well as our SOA top ambassadors, Audrey and Becky. So we're gonna have each of us, share a little bit more about admissions, the college, and we have our student panel. So hang on tight. So let's go ahead and jump onto the overview. Today's topics are going to include college highlights and information being presented by Vanessa. And then I'll go over admission requirements and how you can prepare for majors in the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences. We're going to have our amazing students take the lead in the student panel, and then we'll open up for a Q&A. So if you have any questions for our student panelists or any questions for the college, the Q&A is where you'll put your questions. And then we'll wrap up this presentation with resources and our contact information. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hand the mic over to my colleague and friend Vanessa to share more about the College of Ag.
Thank you, Sheila. All right, y'all, let's get started. So I guess I can introduce myself a little bit more. So my name is Vanessa Talavera. I am the outreach coordinator for the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences. So if you've seen me in your neck of the woods, I am one of the few team members who is out there traveling and letting y'all know about the opportunities within our college. I'm a first-gen student. I'm from Sacramento, California, so not too far from Davis. Davis was my dream school, so very fortunate that I was able to come in as a first year, but now I'm working there full time. And so know a lot about the university. So any questions like you have, please put them in the Q&A. But yeah, this is a landscape of our team. And so there's not just me, there's not just Malia and Melinda. We have a whole slew of folks who are here to support you and in your transfer journey. So in this photo, it makes up different advisors. So within our college, we have our dean's office advisors. These are folks who you're going to want to see if you have any questions about like GEs, transferring to different majors, adding a minor, or if you're just like, I really need help and I don't know where to go, I don't know who to talk to, the dean's office is a great place for that. We also have our major advisors. So those are folks within your major who you can talk to specifically about coursework, internship opportunities. Of course, you can also talk to dean's office folks about this too, but your major advisors would have more information about that. And then also within our college, we have different support staff. We also have a leadership component. We have events that we host. So we do a lot of different things, which is a little bit different from other colleges, but we really just want to build like a home away from home for all of y'all, and just let y'all know that you will be supported when you come here. So a huge team, but a lot of love of support. You can go to the next slide. And so we are known for a lot of different things. Some of y'all might know us for our veterinary program that is going to be at more of like the graduate level. But at the undergraduate level, we are also known for a couple of things. We are #1 in the nation for agriculture and forestry. We've been #1 for at least the past 3 years that I have been here as a staff member. And so keeping that going strong. We're also #2 in the world, but #1 in the nation for plant and animal sciences. So a lot of folks, of course, come to us for our animal programs because it is a good pipeline to the veterinary school. But of course, we have a whole ton of different animal related majors like animal biology. We have wildlife, fish, and conservation biology. Even entomology is a really great program for that as well. So if you're looking at any of those to transfer into, all of those are great, especially our environmental science programs as well. And so we can also skip to the next slide. And so within our college, something that's really cool is that we are divided into three different divisions, if you will. So the first one being agricultural sciences. So that's going to be anything like agriculture and environmental technology, agriculture and environmental education, and of course, like sustainable ag and food systems. So kind of what you generally think as agricultural sciences. Then we have environmental sciences. So environmental science and management, plant sciences is all going to be in there as well. So when people think of College of Ag and Environmental Sciences, that's kind of what they think of as like, those are the only two things we do. But wait, there's more. We also have human and social sciences. So when I was at UC Davis, I was a part of this division. I was human development. That's going to be under our human ecology division, which also houses our community and regional development major. So essentially, what all these three divisions do, I like to think of it as like any world problem or anything that we're trying to solve, it's going to be within this global impact. So, agriculture, anything that's impacting our food systems, environment, anything that's impacting the earth, human and social sciences, that's social impact. So, all of these things come together, and I feel like UC Davis does a really good job of focusing on those as well. Next slide. And so, just sharing with y'all that we are one of the largest colleges, not just by size, but I also think in terms of like our agricultural majors that we offer. We are one of the few schools that has the largest college of agriculture. So there's a lot of things to choose from when looking at us. We have 27 different majors. We have 39 different minors. This fluctuates year to year, just depending on what majors we're offering, where they're going to be housed in different areas. So our forestry program is now in our plant sciences program. So if you're looking at a forestry major, you're going to be wanting to be looking at our plant science major. We're also one of like sort of like the biggest college as well. So we have 381 faculty and around 7,500 students within our college. So we make up most of the college. We're the second biggest college at UC Davis. College of Letters and Science is going to be the largest since they have most of like the majors at our school. And so we are a pretty big campus, but we're a slightly smaller and slightly larger college. A couple that I want to highlight, some of the majors is one that I mentioned earlier, agriculture and environmental technology. This is one of our newest majors in the College of Ag. It kind of focuses on AI and robotics within the agricultural landscape, and it also has a little bit of a blend of engineering. So if you're interested in that, would definitely take a closer look. We also have environmental toxicology. So I like to think of this as like anything that's like polluting the earth, impacting like our environment. Toxicology is a really good one for that, and also has a bit of a forensics classes that you can take in there. Since I get a lot of folks who ask about forensics and criminology, there's going to be some classes that you can take within environmental toxicology. So few of the majors that I like to highlight, even if you are selecting a different major, those are really great to take fun classes into, especially if you want to learn how to fly a drone and get a certificate in that. We do offer that certification here too. I don't think there's a slide for this, but I can kind of briefly go over it. There's some majors that have some selective requirements when you are transferring over. So you're going to want to be looking at those for biotechnology, viticulture and enology, managerial economics, and as well as our landscape architecture major. Landscape architecture has like a pre-landscape architecture major that you would apply to in the beginning. And there's also like an application and portfolio that has to be submitted with that. The transfer folks go over kind of all the selective requirements. So if you're looking at any of those majors that I just said, making sure that you have all of those courses articulated before you come to us, just so you're prepared and you tag very smoothly as well. So you can go to the next slide. Yeah, and we can move on more. So, kind of just wanted to switch over to the different opportunities that we offer within our college. So, we are a Research One university. A lot of folks think because of that, we don't have a lot of hands-on experience, but contrary to popular belief, the College of Ag, I feel like we always have our hands in the dirt. Or always kind of like in the environment. So there's a lot of things that we do that are outside of the classroom. One of those ways is through internships. The internship that is pictured here on the top left corner is the Early Childhood Learning Lab. This was actually the internship that I did when I was a human development student. So it's essentially like a research classroom that you're able to participate in. It's like a preschool, and they're just doing innovative like curriculum, innovative like positive reinforcement. So different ways of how to educate children that aren't being done in the classroom today. So that's a great internship. And all the internships that you probably be offered at our university will be through listservs from like emails that you get from your major advisors. The Internship and Career Center is also a great resource for that too. If you are looking at an internship that's either in the local Yolo County area or back at home, they can help set those up too. We also have different lab experiences. So all of our majors within the College of Agriculture are Bachelor's of Science degrees. So a lot of that is going to require a lot of lab experience. And so anything like biotechnology that does require a lot of lab experience, food science will also have a lot of lab experience built into their class schedules too, especially since y'all will kind of be coming into your upper divisions. You'll be getting a lot of that experience, and you can also do research. Research is also a great opportunity if you're looking to get in the lab. And I don't have it in this photo, but lab experience is going to look different for everybody, as will research experience. You might be out in the fields, you might be out in a classroom, you might be doing transcriptions. So research is really kind of like a broad experience, but you can kind of make it your own experience, especially if you're working with a specific faculty member within our college as well. And then field trips. Field trips don't stop when after you graduate from high school. We offer a lot of different opportunities in terms of going and discovering different areas. So there's field trips in a way that you can do with different research faculty. So if they're doing research in Europe, you can go and do that. Study abroad is also a great option too. That some of our classes that we offer through study abroad, you're able to go kind of anywhere in the world. And then also clubs and internships that are also associated with our college. They go on field trips. And we also have a spring break service trip that we do every spring break. I think this year, maybe not announced yet to my current students, but I think they're looking at the Santa Cruz area. So if you're from Santa Cruz, you may get a free trip home. But yeah, we have a lot of different out of the classroom experiences that you can get through our college. Next. And then some more awesome resources and opportunities. So one of them being career discovery groups. Career discovery groups is a partnership that we have with our internship and career center. So you sign up for the class, and basically every week is just different resources and information on different careers. Sometimes we invite panelists from different alumni groups, and so you can kind of learn about different career options. And so I like to think of it as like a way for you to like not waste time on like a certain major. You get to figure out, if I want to do this certain career route, this is the major that I need to do. So we provide one-on-one advising through that. And then also the internship and career center will help with like resumes and cover letters for that final portfolio. So we set you up very nicely, so you can figure out what major is the best for your career field. Next is Aggie Ambassadors. Melinda is one of our Aggie Ambassadors who will be speaking with y'all later in this webinar. Aggie Ambassadors is essentially like the college version of Future Farmers of America, but it is also like an outreach and leadership organization that is specifically ran through our college. So if that is an opportunity that is of interest to you, highly recommend you come and join us. We do a lot of travel. We also do a lot of fun stuff in the area. So it's just a great way to get connected within the college, but also have a lot of great resources through there too. Manners is a similar one. Theirs is more multicultural base, and it's also, I feel, more nationally recognized. I know they go to national conferences every year, so a little similar to Aggie Ambassadors, but theirs is, like I said, more multicultural orientated. And then we also have Aggie Jumpstart. This is also unique to our college. Essentially, it's for first gen low income underrepresented students. So if you feel like you fit any of those areas, highly recommend you apply to it. This year we got the most applications that we've ever received, and there's only like not a couple of spots, but I would say around like 50 spots open. I think we got like around 90 applications. It is open to incoming first years and incoming transfers. So it's a great way just to kind of jumpstart your way to UC Davis, especially being you all coming from like a 2-year community college and then stepping into a quarter system, stepping into a large university, especially in a new town with new environments. So we really help y'all out. We provide resources. We get you connected with our retention centers. We get you connected with the ICC once again, and we provide more one-on-one advising, and they give out free stuff and free food. So it's great in those ways too. We also have 30 plus college affiliate student organizations. So this is going to be anything essentially that's like our environmental groups, our nutrition clubs. We have our pre-vet clinics in there. So great way to get involved if it's not specifically the ones that I listed beforehand. And then I'll kind of skip down to mental health and well-being resources. We have an on-site counselor within our office, especially since mental health is really important. And so a lot of those counseling appointments within the university are filled up and booked up. But we have someone who's in-house who's able to kind of cater more to our College of Ag students and is more readily available in those areas. So that is a great resource that we provide as well. And then just some fun events and activities. So our college likes to give out free stuff a lot of the time, and we also like to kind of make it so unserious, I guess. So we do something called Coffee with the Dean. I think this year it's like a fall advising festival that we're doing. So we do a lot of different things to one, help y'all de-stress, get to meet our dean, get to meet our advisors, ask them questions, get your courses set up and everything like that. And then we also do something called study breaks. So during finals week, during finals week, we provide like free food, free bagels, free coffee, anything to get you through finals week. And we provide testing materials. So just another great resource. And all of this is, of course, to support you and your academic journey. So come looking for us at the College of Ag Dean's office. If you have any questions, I know we'll have some panelists here that will answer some too. But if you ever visit campus, also let me know. We provide tours of the different animal and environmental facilities. So that is also something that we provide. But yeah, I think we can go to the next thing, unless I put more and didn't realize it. Awesome, Sheila.
All right, thanks, Vanessa. All right, so you heard about the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences. In this next section, we're actually going to jump back into preparing for admissions. We're going to go over some of the minimum requirements and what it means if your major is selective at UC Davis. We'll look at some of the specific preparation needed for some of those majors that Vanessa mentioned as well. All right, so we're going to actually start off with the UC transfer admission requirements. These are the minimum general admission requirements to be considered for junior level transfer across the UC system. So it doesn't matter where you are applying to for the UC, the minimum requirements for transfers are where it differs is the campus and the major that you are applying to, but at minimum, you are required to have units, GPA, and 7-course pattern that fall under the UC transfer admission requirements. This first area of requirements that we're going to look at are the unit requirements. So the minimum unit requirement for junior level applicants is 60 semester UC transferable units or 90 UC transferable quarter units. Some of you might be at a quarter community college. So if you are at a quarter campus, it's 90 quarter units. If you are at a semester campus, you will need 60 semester UC transferable units. And it's really important to note that they are UC transferable units. You have to take courses that are UC transferable in order for those units to count towards the unit requirement for the minimum UC requirements. All right, next is the GPA requirement. So at minimum, you are required to have a 2.4 GPA to be considered for admission to UC. Some campuses do have a higher GPA depending on the major and the campus that you are applying to. At UC Davis, the minimum overall selection GPA is a 2.8, and that is just the minimum. If you are in different, majors that are selective. So for example, in this case, College of Engineering, that is a 3.1 GPA. Some majors as well have additional GPA requirements. So it is a minimum of a 2.8 at UC Davis, and then depending on your major, if it is selective, you may have additional GPA requirements. So just please take note that it's a 2.8 minimum, and then depending on your major, you may have to complete additional GPA requirements. All right, the next requirement is the 7-course pattern. The 7-course pattern includes 2 UC transferable English courses, 1 UC transferable math, and 4 courses from at least 2 of the following subject areas of arts and humanities, social and behavioral sciences, and physical and biological sciences. All right, so these 3 criteria here, the units, the GPA, and the 7-course pattern, all make up the minimum UC transfer admission requirements. Now let's look into UC Davis selective majors. You might be hearing the term selective or major preparation or capped or screening majors, those terms being used across the UC system. At UC Davis, we call majors that have specific coursework for admission selective majors. So if your major at UC Davis is selective, you are required to have certain coursework completed prior to transferring. Some of that coursework may include a specific GPA that you need to have overall, or a specific GPA for certain courses for that major. If you are applying to UC Davis as a selective major, you must make sure that you will complete all of the required coursework by the end of your last spring term prior to transferring in the fall. Summer courses are not counted in our review of admissions, so everything has to be complete by the end of spring if you are planning to transfer in the fall. Additionally, you also need to make sure that you are meeting the major GPAs, and major GPAs must be met at the time of application for both the tag and general admissions process. We'll drop the selection major requirements in the chat in just a few seconds here, so stay posted for that. But basically, this slide is giving you the definition of what we consider a selective major at UC Davis. All right. So while UC Davis does offer 100+ majors for undergraduates, 34 majors are considered selective. We are highlighting the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences today. So you'll see here on this slide where the star is indicated for College of Ag that the selective majors for that college include biotechnology, viticulture and enology, and managerial econ. You can scan the QR code to get more information for selective majors, but we're going to go ahead and take a closer look at what each of these majors do require. I notice we don't have the pre-landscape major here, but we'll include the link in the chat in just a moment. All right, so now let's go over the specific coursework needed if your major is selective for the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences. So if you are a biotechnology major, you are required to have the equivalent of UC Davis's Math 16A and B, or 17A and B, or 21A and B. This is pretty much your Calculus 1 and Calculus 2. And then you're also required to have Chem 2A, B, and C. This is equivalent to, general chemistry. And then you are also required to have Bio 2A or 2B or 2C. So these are currently listed as UC Davis courses. If you are wanting to know what the equivalent is at your community college, you can go to assist.org, and we'll drop the link in the chat as well to determine what your course equivalents are at the community college. It's also important to note that for the biotechnology major, you do have a selective GPA. So on top of that 2.8 that's needed overall for UC Davis, you're also required to have a 2.5 minimum GPA in your chemistry and your math series, and a 3.0 GPA in your bio series. Basically, what that means is that when you're adding up the courses in that series, you need to have an average of the specific GPAs listed for just those courses. Alternate majors that can be considered to biotechnology include animal science, plant sciences, and animal bio. All right, the next selective major for the College of Ag is managerial econ. So for managerial econ, micro and macroeconomics are required along with the calculus series and statistics. You do have a selective GPA of a 2.0 for the entire group of courses. So basically that means that you have to pass your courses with the 2.0 GPA, the ones that are listed here. We do have the alternate major of economics for those considering alternative routes to managerial econ. Once again, these courses are listed in the UC Davis course numbers. So if you want to check out what your equivalent is at your community college, you'll need to check out assist.org. All right, the next selective major for the College of Ag is viticulture and enology. Students who are interested in this major do need to complete general chemistry along with organic chemistry, calculus 1, and then physics 1 and bio 1 or bio 2A. So these are the UC Davis specific courses. You are required to have a selective GPA of a 3.0 for the entire group of courses. Basically, that means that if you're adding up all of these courses that are being shown here, that GPA needs to be a 3.0 these specific courses. You also need to maintain a 3.0 if you complete the recommended courses. So really important to note that required courses need a 3.0 and recommended courses need a 3.0. Alternate majors to viticulture and enology include food science and plant sciences. All right, so that was a breakdown of the selective major requirements for the selective majors for the College of Ag. Now let's jump really quickly into the transfer admission guarantee, also known as the TAG. We're not going to put all the requirements here, but we're going to go ahead and link the TAG website on the chat. But UC Davis does participate in the TAG. The TAG is an admission guarantee. There are only 6 UC campuses that offer guaranteed admissions to students who meet the TAG requirements. For the TAG, you do have certain courses and certain GPAs that you need to have if you want to guarantee your admission to UC Davis. You can only submit one TAG to one UC campus that participates in the TAG. The filing period is September of every year. So for example, if you are planning to transfer for fall of 2025, the TAG would have needed to be submitted last month in September. You also need to make sure that you still submit your UC application. We'll provide a little bit more information through the links that we're going to drop in the chat for the TAG, but I just wanted to share with you all that UC Davis does offer an admission guarantee. If you are interested in the TAG, you'll need to make sure that you are meeting the requirements prior to transferring. All right. Now, I know we went over a lot of information for requirements and like, how do we make sense of this, right? So we prepared a flow chart for steps for preparation on how to prepare for your major for the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences. So we're going to begin with start here. At minimum, you need to have the minimum UC transfer requirements in order to transfer as a junior level. So you want to make sure that you start by completing, the minimum requirements, ensuring that you have 60 semester units, that you have the 7-course pattern. And then next, you should be asking, is my major selective? If the answer is no, my major is not selective, then you should prepare by focusing on completing the minimum admission requirements, any recommended courses, and general education requirements. Selective majors do not require you to have specific courses or a specific GPA. Majors that are non-selective will have recommendations. So if your major is not selective, prepare by completing the minimum admission requirements and any recommended courses, as well as general education requirements that you can at the community college. Now, if you answered, yes, my major is selective, then you want to prepare by first ensuring that you meet the minimum requirements and then completing any required courses and maintaining the GPA that is required for your major. Selective majors, once again, have specific coursework and certain GPA requirements. So if your major is selective, you need to make sure that you have the specific courses down and that you're meeting or maintaining the GPA that is required for that particular major. Next, is my major available for tag? So now you've kind of figured out like, okay, these are the regular admission requirements that I need to have for my major, whether if it's selective or non-selective. Now, is your major available to tag? Although UC Davis offers a tag, not all of our majors are available for the tag. So if you answer no, my major is not open to tag at Davis, if that is the answer, don't worry, you can still apply through regular admissions and be competitive in the process. If your major is not open to tag, you want to focus on completing your minimum admission requirements, any selective major requirements, recommended courses, and general education requirements. If your major is open to tag, so in this case, if you answered yes, my major is open to tag, then you want to make sure that you are completing the tag requirements in addition to the regular admission requirements. Tag requirements are often held at a higher standard, so you might have a higher GPA or you might be required to take additional courses. If your major is open to tag and you're interested in submitting a tag, you want to make sure that you review those tag requirements to see what you might need to complete in addition to the regular admission requirements. All right, so this pretty much wraps up the admission requirements portion of today's presentation. I'm actually gonna transition now over to the student panel and invite our panelists to come and introduce themselves. So we're gonna start off with Audrey.
Hello, everyone. My name is Audrey Pimienta. I'm a biotechnology major. I am also a senior, second-year transfer, and I came from Solano Community College, and I transferred in fall 2023. Some things I'm involved in campus is I'm a student outreach ambassador for the Transfer and Opportunity Program under the undergraduate admissions, and I'm also an undergraduate researcher for Mills Laboratory, and that's within like the Food Science and Technology department. And within that, I do like my own research, which I can get into later if anyone has questions regarding that. And UC Davis has always been my dream, which is why I came here. And the campus has like a really welcoming and comforting like environment. It also has like a lot of strong research opportunities, especially in my major. And I also knew that UC Davis would give me like more hands-on experience, so I can use those skills when I have like a future career or go to like grad school or something like that. And everything's just so vibrant. There's so much nature around, and it just makes it really like nice to be in.
Hello, my name is Melinda. My major right now is political science, public service. When I first came to Davis, it was environmental policy analysis and planning with the College of Ag. I'm a fourth year and I'm graduating this fall. I transferred from De Anza College in Cupertino, and part of the reason why I wanted to come to UC Davis was because I wanted to not have to do like a really far move and kind of stay in Northern California. The things that I've done on campus here at Davis is Aggie Ambassadors, which I highly recommend. I took the Career Discovery group class, like my first quarter, and then learned about Aggie Ambassadors and basically just stuck with them my whole time here at UC Davis. And they've been like my college family. I also was a research fellow for the National Center for Sustainable Transportation, which I did over the summer, like the first summer I was here. And basically, it was just a research opportunity that one of my professors was talking about. And I just talked to her about it and then applied and was able to get some research experience. And yeah, UC Davis, honestly, it wasn't super on my radar. But I was in a scholar program with De Anza, and the people in my cohort were talking about tagging. And I learned about how to, what the tag program was. And because I wanted to stay in NorCal, I decided to tag to Davis. And, it does have a little bit more strict requirements with GPA and all of that and credits and stuff, but I was able to do that. So, and then got like a good financial aid package. And then also just my experience with, doing, 2 years ago, I was in this position of like attending webinars like this. And so Davis really struck me as a place that would have a lot of transfer support. So that's why I decided to come here. And I believe Becky is next.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Becky. I majored in human development and actually graduated already during the summer. So yeah, and I transferred from City College of San Francisco, so still in NorCal. And then I was involved in transfer opportunities program as I worked there for as a student outreach ambassador. I was in some social clubs like Asian American Club and Mahjong Club just because I love playing Mahjong. And then why I chose UC Davis was because it is very college town vibes. I'm from city, so I wanted to go somewhere that's very different and I want to experience that. So that's why I chose UC Davis. And then I feel like the culture was very nice. Everybody is very open to making friends, very diverse as well, which I love. And it was just a nice breather to be away from the city. And then not only that, it was very close to SF, so I was able to go back home if I needed to, and I think that was a big plus. Yeah, and next, I believe is, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, Mela, sorry.
Hi, I'm Malia, and my major is managerial economics. I'm currently a senior here at UC Davis, and I transferred from the Santa Rosa Junior College. Yay! I am involved in a variety of things on campus, and I really recommend that anyone that comes here just tries out like a bunch of different like clubs and organizations, and through that you'll like meet a lot of people and hear about more things that you are maybe even more interested in. I occasionally go to skate club. I love to skate. There's environmental club, outdoor crew, Davis Women in Business. There's the craft center here, which I've been enjoying a lot in the past year. I've done ceramics, glass bead making, a lapidary workshop, and then also just attending office hours and meeting my professors and talking to other TAs and stuff like that. Additionally, one of the things I did over the summer was an economics research class. That was only a couple units, so it wasn't a super intense class, but it really gave like a better understanding of the things I was learning. So that's something I really recommend for people interested in econ. So to summarize, why UC Davis for me, it's one of the interests I had for coming here was mostly based on my major. Managerial economics is like very businessy, but also includes a lot of more technical skills that I didn't find in other business programs. Um, it also allowed me to focus on things like the environment and agriculture, and I can take classes or meet people and like be involved in the agriculture side here, even without taking any specific classes if I didn't want to, which was very interesting to me too. There's always offerings of different like lectures you can go and attend for free, even if you're not taking a class. There's one put on by the plant sciences that I've attended before, and these kind of things are really great just to like learn more and see what other things you might be interested in. There's also tons of resources that I think really speak about UC Davis. I knew that there was going to be a lot coming in, and actually now that I'm here, I have seen a ton of different things that I've been interested in and wanted to do, and I've learned a lot from my experiences, whether or not I stayed doing something. There's a lot of clubs I joined and didn't continue with, but I got a lot out of it. And met a lot of great people here. I think what Melinda was saying too, the transfer resources are pretty great. There's tons of people that are transfer students. It's a big community of people. And I think it's a great reason to come here. Thank you.
All right, thank you everyone. So we're actually now going to start our Q&A. If you do have any questions for our student panelists, please send them through the Q&A, and we'll go ahead and answer any questions that you have. All right, first question, and it could be for anyone. how did you decide where to transfer to, and ultimately, um, what what was your decision factor in enrolling at UC Davis?
I can answer that. So I decided to choose UC Davis and I tagged here. Like I said, it's always been my dream to come here, and it's really close from home. I live in Vacaville, so that's about 30 minutes away, and always planned to commute, live at home, save some money. So for me, it was kind of just always been there since I was in like middle school and high school, and I also saw my brother come here and he graduated in 2020. So UC Davis has always been like a given for me.
I'll just add something like for me, I had like a really big gap in my education. So coming back to, um, you know, school was something that I was really nervous about. And so I just was like super nervous about being on a like big university campus and feeling like I didn't, I wasn't, um, because I didn't continue all the way, like I wasn't super confident about like, how's it going to be when I go back to school and like what things have changed and like, how am I going to deal with the challenges of it? And so for me, when I was like taking tours and talking to other, universities and stuff like that, I was really trying to feel the like transfer vibes at each school to see like, do you care about transfers? Like, is there a support for transfer students? Like, because it is a little different than just going straight from high school. Everybody has like a different path. And so there might be some barriers that you know about that you don't know about that will come up. And so I just wanted to make sure that like if I'm gonna do this, like I really want to know that I have the help that that's going to be available for me, and I got that from Davis. I didn't get that from some other places, and I was like, ooh, okay, so you really don't care about transfer, so I don't want to go to that school. But with Davis, like everyone is they're friendly and they're helpful, and they really care about the success of all students, but especially transfer students. So that was really like what sealed the deal for me.
Thank you, Audrey and Melinda. We have some questions that came through the chat. This one is actually for Malia. All right. So how hard would you say the work is in managerial economics versus courses at the community college?
I would say that it's nothing to worry about. I don't think they're that comparable, to be honest, because I mean, I was on semester system. I think most community colleges do semester system, at least that I'm aware of. So just the time frame of everything was a like a big change. That takes a little getting used to for sure. Also, I had my, I'm going on to my second year here. My hardest class so far was my first quarter at Davis, which was 100 ARE 100A. Um, People have had different thoughts, but I think a professor really is a difference in certain classes, and that one was just really hard. But I've also noticed that at Davis, there's a lot of curving or different grade adjustments that go along into the grading process. So what I would expect to be graded at a community college, um, it's it's different in that way. So like you might struggle a little bit here, but your grades don't always reflect that. If that makes any sense, there's it's a big change, but there are some things that are specifically different. And I could just say again, the quarter and semester system are very different to get used to, and all these things just take a little bit of time. Is not an issue. Also, like having it where the classes are graded very strangely in comparison to what I was used to is something to keep in mind, but I don't think the classes are any harder than community college, at least the ones I had to experience. So overall, it really depends on the professor, but just getting used to the system that you're going to be going into, I think is the most important part.
Thank you. All right. Question for everyone on the panel. What has been your favorite class at UC Davis? Whenever you're ready, anyone can start first.
I can answer one. This was actually like when I was doing environmental policy analysis and planning, and it was a class on climate change and policy. And so I have to say it was kind of maybe one of the most depressing classes I took, just because, you know, the numbers don't lie and there's just a lot going on with climate change and a lot that is out of our control. But it really, really also like inspired me because just to know that there's all these things that people are working towards and that, you know, have just gotten a lot more attention recently than it has before. And so, yeah, I mean, every single class I had through the quarter with that, like my mind was just like blown every single time. So I really enjoyed that class.
Um, uh, I'll go next. A class that I really enjoyed is my bioethics class. It was one of the required philosophy classes I had to take, but I thought it was going to be really boring. I'm not going to lie, since it was a philosophy class and it was one of the requirements. And then I actually took it and it was really fun, and it actually makes you think about all the like cases in the medical field and how the ethics works around it, and it was just very interesting, and I would definitely recommend it to others to take it just because it really like makes you think. Yeah.
I can go next. For me, I would say it was bit one, so bit 001. It was the introduction to biotechnology. At first, I thought it'd be like really simple and just getting into like the basics, but we ended up having to have like a business pitch, and you get to develop like your own product using like biotechnology equipment, things like that. And you give like a whole presentation, you work with a team, and you pretty much invent like your own product, which I thought was pretty cool.
One of my favorite classes was surprising to me. It was a stats class, stats stat 103, I think. And the professor was amazing. I learned so much. And it was a class that made me really confident in my ability to like do basic math and like statistics and really understand concepts. And it was just taught in a way that was really fun. It was challenging for sure. There's a lot of work to do. Like every single day I was working on it. But you if you got it, like if you put the work in, you would get a really good result where you actually understand some like interesting concepts. So that was one of my favorite classes.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, next question. Did anyone work while taking classes, and how was it? Or if you are working right now, raise your hand. But yeah, did you work on campus, off campus, and how was it while taking classes? This is open to anyone, so whenever you are ready, feel free to chime in.
Yeah, I can go first. So I did work when I first got here at UC Davis. My first quarter, I actually worked at Chick-fil-A here in Vacaville. So I would work around like 35 to 42 hours every single week. Don't recommend it. But for like the position I was holding there, that was like the requirement. After some time, I decided to leave that job and just focus on more like science type like jobs. So I decided to leave that and just focus more on research and applying to like labs and things like that. And in the winter, I actually got an opportunity to work in a lab, the one I'm in right now. And as a biotech major, you are required to like work or have any lab experience for 1 quarter. It's like a graduation requirement. But after doing that for a quarter, I decided to stay there, and they pretty much paid for my internship during the summer, and I'm still there, and I'm also working as a student outreach ambassador currently. The hours pretty much depend on whatever I sign up for or how much time I want to spend in the lab, so I would say roughly 20 hours now instead of 40.
The first 2 quarters I didn't work, and I think that was the best thing because it does take some time to kind of acclimate to the classes and everything. but then I got like a part-time job at Nike, and I was there for basically like a quarter. I worked like 25-ish hours, which was kind of hard to do. I mean, everyone's going to be different, and it depends on if you're taking 3 classes, 4 classes, or more. And it depends on how hard your classes are and how much credits you're taking. But yeah, for me, I think like less than 20 hours is probably the best for me. I also did the fellowship during the summer. So that really wasn't bad because I wasn't taking any classes in the summer. And then for my political science degree requirement, I did need to have some like internship experience. So I work at the California High Speed Rail Authority. And I did that for my internship requirements, but then I've been with them for a year. So and that's really actually worked out very well because it's a student assistant position and I can change my availability and my schedule every quarter depending on my workload. So it's been really nice because I work like 16 hours, and that's been manageable for me.
Thank you. Next question. What is campus life like? Is there on-campus housing for transfers?
There is on-campus housing for transfers. It's called The Green. I stayed in there last year, and it was really nice, honestly. The rooms were very large for the doubles, and for singles, it was all really good. There are cheaper options available in Davis, so if that's something you're looking for, that's one of the reasons I moved this year. But I do really recommend it if you want to and can afford it. It's not too far from campus. It's still a good bike. Like it's not easy to walk from there. But it's a good option. There's a lot of transfer students there. That's where I met a lot of people. Um, and it's a nice community. So yeah, there's that option.
All right. I think this one might be for you, Melinda. How different are the majors for political science and environmental policy?
Um, to be fully transparent, the biggest difference was math. Environmental policy analysis and planning had a lot of math that I was not ready to take. I would say I would definitely recommend taking as much, chemistry or physics and calculus in community college if you can, because it is pretty tough. I think it was challenging for me, anyways, but I did have that gap, so that probably weighed into it. Yeah, I mean, I kind of had to take a step back and take some like basic math classes to get up to speed. And ultimately, like it was a really big jump for me, and um, luckily there's a lot of support, and so with the political science major, it doesn't require a bunch of math classes. It's really heavy on reading and writing, which is my strength. So being able to switch majors was really helpful to me. So I would say that's like the biggest difference is that, you know, it's really just like math or like reading and writing. It kind of depends what your strength is. And being able to like try both, is definitely a good experience. And then being able to like talk to advisors about it also helps because you can see that there's like different options. But yeah, that was mostly the difference.
Thank you for that. All right, one question before we wrap it up. As an undergraduate transfer student, how can we get help and information if we want to pursue a graduate degree? Is it hard to find internships or research opportunities for transfer students? Or maybe if you all want to share any resources that you've used on campus for internships, careers, or research? And then Audrey, I saw you unmute your mic, so go ahead.
Yeah, I can share a little bit about like my experience in getting my internship. Um, I was actually in a seminar, so biotechnology seminar. So that's basically like a class you go once a week. It's one unit, and we have like speakers come in and talk about their research or their careers, and they give out advice. And my current PI, so my principal investigator, he came in and gave a presentation on his research, and I found him like to be super interesting, and I decided to like walk up to him and just introduce myself briefly. And then I emailed him just asking for like a 20-minute meeting to literally just talk about research and advice, not like begging for a spot in his lab, right? And somehow like my resume ended up in his lab and I got an interview and then I got the position. So that's one way you could do that, go to seminars, or you could also go to the internship and career center or even like the undergraduate research center and get more information there.
So I did the career discovery group, which is like a 1 credit class. I did it my first quarter at Davis, and that was really helpful. They do focus on like career and just kind of give you, advice with your resume and interviews and kind of how to network. We had a couple of classes that were like panel kind of interview style where you got to like meet faculty or staff or people that are in different professions and kind of ask them questions about their careers. So that was really helpful. That's also where I learned about Aggie ambassadors, and Aggie ambassadors is really great because there's also, um, it's a class, but it's also, they do just a lot of outreach events. So there's also panels where you can kind of meet people. I've definitely met, like, I've gone to conferences and I've met people in different professions and been able to ask them questions, and that kind of helped me. As far as the being a research fellow, that was just a professor that kind of like, Audrey's experience. Like, I just took a class and I really liked the class, and talked to my professor about, opportunities doing a research, and she let me know where to apply and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how I got that research experience. But then, like, yeah, I mean, I guess, like, and then also the job that I got with California High Speed Rail, that was a transfer student that I had classes with, and he worked there and he knew I needed internship credits. And when there was an opening, he just like told me about it, and I was able to get that position as well.
All right, thank you so much. So we are at the end of our time, so I'm going to go ahead and go through the resources. I guess just the very last thing is, are there any words of advice or any words of encouragement that you'd like to leave for our students from our panelists?
I just want to say I know everyone's worked really hard to get just to the point of like where you are interested in transferring and trying to figure out where you want to transfer to and doing all the work that leads up to it. So it's very impressive, and I'm very glad that everyone's here that is like doing the next steps and looking forward, and I think that's great. So good job, everyone.
Yeah, to add on to that, I would say just take it easy, don't stress out too much. Everything happens for a reason, and just give yourself some grace. If you do have like some ups and downs when you're at Davis, you'll find your way up and just ask for a lot of help. One thing about UC Davis that I love is no one's really scared to ask for help, and when you do, you feel really like you don't feel what's the word? People don't put you down for asking for help, which I love. So yeah, ask for help and everything will be okay.
I'll just piggyback real quick off of off of that. Just, yeah, every step of this is, it's a process and it takes time, and it takes courage and confidence and support. So just remember to like celebrate each part of it. And there's going to be times where you're excited. There's going to be times where you're scared. But it does all end up working out. And especially like here at Davis, there's a ton of people that are just super willing to help you and, just make sure that you're successful. So you're never alone. And there's a ton of just community here and support for you. So, celebrate like where you're at and know that you can do it.
Same as everyone was saying, like, don't be scared to reach out. It is a long process, but everything will be fine. Figure out where you want to go, figure out where you stand, and everything will work out fine. It'll be all good. But yeah, that's my advice.
All right, thank you so much to our panelists and for everyone for still staying on. If you do have any questions or want to stay connected with us, our UC Davis top website is here, as well as our top SOA email. Feel free to also connect with us on social media. I just want to give a really big shout out to our panelists, Becky, Audrey, Melinda, Malia, and Vanessa for presenting tonight. So thank you everyone for hanging in there with us. And I hope you all have a great night, and we hope to see you at our future events. So good night, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us tonight.